mistakenly spending time with their families. That's not what
Big
you should be
mistake.
doing. You guys know, and that's why we love you guys. And we are all having Christmas Eve together. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And just great StarCraft 2 games.
It's been pretty good so far. MyuNgSIK making Zest look like an easy walkover, actually, with those couple of games. Zest didn't really look on his form today. I think he wasn't expecting that kind of build the second game, but the first one was kind of like really shaky.
Yeah.
Not what I was expecting out of someone like Zest.
Well, I have to agree with you on that. It was like kind of a little bit weird. I guess he had already committed in certain directions and didn't feel like he could switch it up. But MyuNgSIK definitely with some entertaining and interesting types of play. But I guess we'll just see it. He seems like a player that would do very well in Legacy of the Void, and also especially early on when strategies aren't figured out. Because even when strategies were figured out, this guy was coming up with his own stuff, like completely his own. So.
He's definitely like a meta maker. You know, he just makes his own kind of ways, and people follow him. He's a leader rather than a follower, and I think this is going to help him out early on here.
Yeah, I think so too. So I'm interested to see how far he can actually get in this tournament. Like I haven't gotten to really see him play yet, but other than just now, and it looked very good right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can maybe even win a Code S spot. Like it's not out of the question that he could do it with groundbreaking strats like that. So.
It's also interesting when we enter a new expansion because we don't know like which matchups are good for certain players yet. Like that might be MyuNgSIK's best matchup right now, PvP, and then maybe he faces a Terran in the round of 8 and he gets smashed, and we're like, what happened to this guy? It's just because we don't know where he stands right now. Everything has changed in this expansion, so we don't have like all the stats that say like, oh, SOS is 75% win ratio against Zerg and Heart of the Swarm. Like we don't have any of that yet. So it's cool, like, learning about the players and what they're feeling about the different matchups as well as we go through this.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting to see some of the people that are missing. For instance, Maru and SOS. Yeah. Where the hell have they been?
Where are the Junior players?
They haven't popped up yet, man. I'm getting a little bit nervous. There's going to be Code 8 qualifiers coming up really soon, though. Hopefully they get in. Well, wait a minute.
So they didn't get into
at least
SSL,
one of them,
I guess.
Is already in Code S, right? I don't remember round of 8. Anyways, it's been a long time since our last Code S season.
Yeah.
I'm digging my own grave here. Okay, next match.
Let's move on.
Trap versus Armani. What do you think about this one?
I don't really know what to expect, actually, in this one. Trap was always a pretty decent macro kind of toss to me in Heart of the Swarm. And Armani, I just honestly don't know much about the kid. I mean, we didn't really get to see him play all that much last year.
I mean, he's been in Code A a couple times. I've seen him in some qualifiers and stuff. He's like a good Zerg. I don't know if he'll be able to keep up with Trap, who I've always considered like top of the second tier Protoss.
Yeah. No, I think that's very fair.
Let's take a look, see how this one goes. ByuN Terraces, what? Whoa, okay. Well, we have down here in the bottom right a Protoss that did not ban ByuN Terraces against Zerg. You must have a cheese. It is Trap. You like that intro?
Yeah, I loved it down here. You're getting better.
Thank you.
Every day. Up at the top left in the red, the Zerg player who's probably loving the fact that he's on this map. It's Armani.
Indeed. But if I'm Armani, I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, the way that I think of Trap's PvZ is sharp timing attacks. Like, I feel like he gets up to exactly the units he wants, whether that's on 2 or 3 bases, and then, like, walks over and kills you right before you have what you need. If I'm Armani and I'm kind of thinking about this and the fact that this map got through, I'd be a little bit nervous, to be honest.
Yeah.
Still takes the gold right away.
I suppose. I mean, I'm sure he's dealt. He's had a lot of time here practicing with Team Samsung, dealing with a lot of the Protoss cheeses that are possible on this map, or not just cheeses, timing attacks, as you were saying. And you see, he sends out an early scout just to make sure, just to stay safe against this gold base. We are going to see Trap starting off at 2 gates very early. And he may want to put on some pressure with this.
Yeah, he's going to have to make some adepts out of here. I wonder, like, you definitely can do, like, for instance, on this map, who did it at DreamHack? Was it Parting or Showtime? Did, like, a 5-gate on this map? Like, 5-gate adept. And I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to pull something out like that, because he only has 1 gas, yet he has 2 gates. So, obviously, there has to be a lot of pressure coming on.
Yeah, and Armani is going to take a 3rd base over here on the other gold base that's close to his main. And let's see how he deals with this adept pressure. I think it's going to be very, very hard for him, to be honest. Going for 3 bases like this very early on, he is going to commit to Zergling speed, probably going to make a big swell of lings to deal with the Adepts, I suppose, try to get us around.
And it looks like this is actually just going to be a gold expansion off of 2 Gateway Adept here. So some pressure with the Adepts into the expand. Not what I was expecting, but okay, I'm cool with this. Let's see where he wants to go.
Yeah, just 2 Adepts for now. That's all it's going to be. This is enough, though. Just 2 Adepts. I mean, they do so much damage to light units. If you've only got Lings and drones, and not even a Queen yet out here at the gold, it's about to pop.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be hard to deal with. And Trap can just sit here, clean up all the Zerglings in the world. And before speed is done and before Armani gets a big number of Lings, he's going to have so much trouble dealing with this.
And look at this. He's going to be able to force weight drones off the gold once again. I mean, he's killed a decent amount of drones so far and really quite a few Lings. And behind all this, he's actually going up to a Stargate, which I think is a great call because he can grab an Oracle to help him out as a harassment unit against 3 hatcheries that are not connected by creep and stuff. I mean, and even on the defensive against mass speedlings. So definitely some cool stuff going on.
Yeah. And finally, Zergling speed does finish. One of the Adepts does go down, but they've done their damage.
Yeah.
And they've kind of done their job already. So I'm sure Trap is not too sad about that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, he's about to have the Mothership Core. He has an Adept on the way. He looks like he's completely solid here. I like the build. It seems like it's done a pretty good job. And with an Oracle popping out and these bases so far away, Queens can't really help each other. So he has to have spores everywhere, which he doesn't have yet. But
oh, this is an interesting little run by. Just 6 Lings coming in. Going to be thwarted by 1 overcharge for now. But gets 2 probes.
Yeah, that can be pretty annoying. We do have an Overlord that actually instantly spots us, so that's actually a really big deal. Does he throw down the spores? Maybe he didn't actually see it with his eyes. Yeah, he didn't see it.
He didn't see it.
Oh.
That's so bad for Armani. He needed to see that. And all of these drones at this base are going to go down. One Queen is just not enough.
Absolutely.
Oracle can just sit here and get all 7.
That's right. I guess he does turn 1 into a spore right there, but that is already so many drones. And don't forget, he lost, like, what was it, 3 or 4 to the Adepts.
Yeah. And this Oracle, well, I thought it wasn't done. I think if it flew directly to the other gold base, it could have gotten, 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
And we have a follow-up with a bunch more Adepts on the way as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually, when you think about it, right? Because he's forcing... When you start killing drones with an Oracle, a lot of times the Zerg greet drones. So these Oracles can actually get in here and do some damage once again.
Yeah. Seems like Trap came in very prepared for this map, was not scared about playing this against Zerg at all.
Yeah.
And had a very specific strategy to go along with this map.
Yeah, it's really quite nice. And we do see a nice surround here on these Adepts, but they're still doing a pretty good job here, to be honest.
Yeah, they're still killing all the Lings that came in before, and now they're going to teleport away. Unfortunately, not able to get far enough to get to the gold or anything like that, but going to deny any 4th base here and get a nice position with the help of his Oracle. Could do a good number on these Lings.
Yeah, indeed. You're quite right about that. Really nice save with that Oracle. It's almost like running back to a cannon rush you did or something, like a safety point there with that Oracle. And, I mean, this is looking pretty good for Trap. He's able to take this 3rd base. He's going to have a Warp Prism. He's going to have... the Adept attack speed upgrade.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
I feel like Trap is really loving Legacy of the Void so far for Protoss. He's like, Adepts are pretty strong. I'll just use those and upgrade them. And I'll get a Warp Prism that does really well. Oracles are still really strong. Let me make some of those.
Yeah, in fact, except for detecting, I guess they're better.
Die.
Oh, man.
He just misses it.
That would have been amazing.
Look at this. Just coming in, ignoring the roaches. Going to teleport away now into the main. There is absolutely no defense here. The Roach is desperately trying to get back, having no speed, and the creep is still not connected, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, and this is really rough for Armani. I love that he's actually pushing a couple Oracles up to that other gold as well. He can easily kill everything there with only a Queen to defend. The one thing I would be a little bit scared for him is if he just keeps on sacrificing every unit, the Roach count is getting higher. He's not killing any Roaches.
Keep in mind that back at home he's making only Immortals and Void Rays with a follow-up of Blink.
Okay.
So he's putting on so much pressure. The Adepts in the main were never cleaned up because he forced everything back with another run by into the third base. He's just running circles around Armani right now.
Look at this, 22 kills, just crazy. I mean, I gotta say, Trap is playing a really strong PvZ right now.
As I said before, I think he's taking Legacy of the Void and the way that you have to play it to heart. He's just like, okay, I'm just going to out-harass the Zerg. Like, enough of sitting back on my 3 base and just trying to defend Ling all-ins and some weird stuff. Like, I'm just going to kill the Zerg instead.
Yeah, and it's working out pretty well for him. This drone count is just frightfully low. The amount of larvae and money he's had to spend remaking them is crazy at this point. It says 29 killed. That's recently. Don't forget there was Oracle harassment. There was earlier Adept harassment. I don't know how many total, but it's getting up there.
And the harassment isn't even done. I mean, he's gotten 6 more drones here. 7 now. Even saves one of those Azeps. And back at home, as we mentioned, is a very strong army looming. Look at what Armani has right now. He has 8 roaches, 4 ravagers, and 3 larvae. He has nothing. He literally has nothing. He has nothing. Look at the supplies. Trap's going to walk across the map and kill him.
Yeah, 1A. Pretty good move there. This is pretty scary indeed. He even has a prism to just warp things in if he can come back.
GG.
Okay, yeah.
He saw the army and he's like, no.
Not surprised
no
about that, GG. That's just like he got way outclassed there by Trap. That was a cool build.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool for the Protoss players out there. Really enjoying that one. Yeah, that's just really strong on that map. It's really good because it makes sense. The creep is not connected between those 3 bases. If the Zerg is going to take that greedier third base with the gold, it's going to be even more spread out, and they won't be able to, stop you from getting into the main as easily because generally you would be able to connect your main and your natural decently easy, like one creep tumor, but because they were so spread out, you could just go for that, and there's not much that the Zerg can do.
Yeah, I think that that was just a little bit too greedy, that third base at the gold. That was like just, he had no chance of defending everything, but Trap's whole strategy seemed like really well thought out. He kept, Armani busy basically the whole time.
Yeah, that's a really frustrating game for Armani.
And the thing is, even if he doesn't get that many kills, like it was so many kills at that end of the game, but even if he gets half that or a third of that,
he's still ahead.
Yeah, he's keeping the Zerg busy. He's keeping them occupied. He's forcing him into doing things like making roaches while he's countering the roach unit. Yeah, I really like the play of Trap here, and I think that after a game like that in Prion Terraces, Armani's going to be hard-pressed to win this match.
It's going to be a very hard one for him coming into this one for sure. Trap looked like he had a really good grasp on how to play early to mid-game as Protoss versus Zerg, especially on that map. And would love to see Armani just play back a little bit, maybe play a bit more safe, and see if he can defend some of that crazy Protoss play out of Trap.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're going to get into that next game now. And it is going to be on Dusk Towers. It's brought to you by Hot 6. In the top right, our Protoss looking ab-fab in that last game. This Trap.
Looking good, and down here in the bottom left, in the red, the Zerg player, it is Armani.
Okay. See if Armani can do a bit better here. He's not going to be so spread out this time, so that type of harassment is not going to be anywhere near as powerful. And, of course, we don't even know if Trap wants to go for that style. We've definitely seen there's like 3 different classifications of maps in this preseason. The 2 maps, Dusk Towers and Orbital, that have the natural behind. The 2 4-player maps is another classification in Prion Terraces. So we've seen like very different builds between those 3 sets. And I wonder if we're going to see a very different build here from Trap. It looks like it already.
Starting off with just a 1 gate, 1 gas into Nexus. And Armani just being a bit annoying. The scouting drone doing a bit more work this time around. And just going to take his own third base at the same time as delaying this.
A very good job, double hatchery before the spawning pool. So he's being maximum greed, but of course nothing Trap can really do against that. Trap, on the other hand, playing kind of safe, getting that gateway before the Nexus. It's all right, though. It's not like it's an unwinnable position or anything like that. Just a slight advantage for Armani right now.
Yeah. This is definitely something you can do when you send the scouting drone out. You can be 100% sure in your greed. We've seen sometimes in Heart of the Swarm, Zergs would just throw it down without scouting. and sometimes they get punished for it, but this time around, Armani should be prepared for anything that Trap can throw out.
Yeah, it looks like Trap will probably just send down an Adept right away, which, you know, that's just normal play.
Pretty
you know,
standard.
send him down there, make sure you know what's going on, maybe kill a drone, a couple lings, whatever. Until ling's speed is up, the Adept is almost invincible.
No, he is invincible. Let's be
Pretty
real.
much, right? This is the Protoss Reaper.
Unless you,
Except
you
much
really
better.
mess up your control. Follow up the Stargate. Nothing too out of the ordinary there as well. I mean, he got a ton of damage done with that last time around because Armani just had no idea it was coming. Even though he had a Overlord in position and saw the Oracle come out of the base, he still didn't see it, and he took so much damage from it. So I'm sure Trap is saying, well, he seems still pretty weak to Oracles. Let me just try it again.
Yeah, I think you're probably right here. I definitely am feeling an Oracle coming up, and that's going to allow him to take a super quick third off that because, you know, obviously the only thing that could threaten it would be like a whole bunch of Zerglings, and Oracle deals that super well.
Yeah.
Let's see, though. It has finished up. We'll see what he's going to make in just a second here. Looks like he's just waiting for that gas.
And
there it is.
okay.
All right. Oh, good choice indeed. I think he's going to be taking a third base like immediately here while he's just poking and prodding. He's just kind of keeping track of what's where, what's going on with this exactly, where are these queens at, and that's going to allow him to be a little bit quicker and more effective with his Oracle coming in. That was awkward.
I love how the Adepts are taxing the observers of StarCraft as well.
Yeah.
Just saying, you know, when they teleport, you got to be right on that. But sometimes people have trouble with that. It can be hard.
Yeah, it's observers are even going to have to up their game in Legacy of the Void, man. This is making it hard for everyone. The casters as well. Like,
So it seems like this time around, Armani has identified that Oracle was the choice. The follow-up here for Trap is making those 3 Spore Crawlers. They should be up just in time.
yeah, like perfect timing. It looks like this one's going to finish in like a second. Might end up getting like a couple drones here.
Like just barely too late. Gonna get 4.
Hey, that's not bad for having a Spore there.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all.
But that's all right. It looks like this base is up and ready to go. The Twilight about to finish up here. Of course, getting that Adept attack speed. Not uncommon to see that as the first Twilight upgrade. It's a bargain at 100-100.
And the Oracle is still alive. Probably not going to sacrifice it for any kills. I'm sure the max he could get is like 1.
Yeah.
With a Queen and a Spore at every base. So just going to use it to scout, fly around, maybe tag some units. And
maybe even throw down some stasis wards, stuff like that.
Could do that too.
Important as well to just see as the layer finishes if a Spire is going up. Because that's like the scariest thing for Protoss in this game actually is the Spire, I would say. Just because, like, you know, the Parasitic Bomb can make it so that a long Muta game is very difficult to play.
Yeah.
But a Phoenix actually on the way already. Might be just to clean up some Overlords, kind of be like, hey, I might be making some Phoenixes. Don't make a Spire, please.
Yeah. We already see Trap, or rather Armani, committing to the +1 ground attack upgrade and adding a Hydra here. So maybe looking towards just a pretty basic Roach Hydra, Ravager army, possibly.
Yeah. Could be seeing some Lurkers as well. Lurkers definitely very popular. And we do have the Robo on the way, so that's important. You absolutely need Robo units to really deal long-term with any sort of ground Zerg army.
Yeah, very true. At the same time, the Adept upgrade has finished, and he has a forward pylon here looking to put on the Harass. 8 Adepts here now, warped in 4 more, so he's got 12 in total.
Yeah, quite a scary Adept army. I love these types of moves, by the way, just continually forcing the Zerg army to go where you want it to go. Oh yeah, as soon as those turn around, you let it finish. I mean, this is such a quick cooldown. He's just going to shade again in a second here. Look at that, already snipes a Queen.
And these Adepts can just do so much damage to everything that's here. I mean, even the Roaches they can fight decently against, but they are going to warp out back. And oh, he's splitting them up now, and Armani is having so much trouble dealing with this.
Look at that, 14, 15 drones dead. There's Hydras popping out, but truth be told, they actually trade pretty well with Hydras.
Yeah. Well, 20 drones have gone down, and Of course, this is a very big commitment from Trap. He used 12 Adepts to do this damage, but I think it is a better trade overall for Trap, for sure.
20 drones, a queen, and a handful of lings is pretty awesome. And of course, you got to remember he's keeping him at home as well. As long as Trap is spending his money at home, he should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah. And as like with any StarCraft game, when you're putting on this kind of pressure, you can scout what your opponent is doing as well. Scout out the Lurker Den. He knows this is coming.
In fact, these Hydras coming around the other side, but with the Warp Prism actually going towards this main base, there could be a lot more drone deaths in the future here for Armani.
Well, he's got some Lings and a Ravager in place, or at least he did for a second there. And I think he should pick these up, but he's actually going to stick around, just try to focus down as many drones as possible.
Oh, and I think only one train. Oh, no. Oh, wow. Very low on health there, but both of them did get out. Gets cleaned up immediately.
8 kills in total for 4 Adepts.
All right, so, I mean, Trap has done a very good job here, but if you look at it, still a good amount of drones do exist for our Zerg player. He's going to probably need to drone up slightly more, and he has that Lurker Den, so that's pretty important. When you have Lurkers and you play defensively as Zerg, it's really, really hard to bust.
Yeah.
You either need, like, really overwhelming force or, like, really great harassment to pull Zerg out of position. You know, it's hard to bust them. So there's definitely still time here for Armani to make some sort of comeback or reality. Oh. Yep.
He gets one.
Seen that before.
Yeah. 7 drones. Again. Armani had a moment there where he got supply blocked because some of his overlords did go down somewhere, maybe to that Phoenix. But he made like 8 overlords, and it looked like he redroned to like 25 extra drones. So he may have had like a point there where he was kind of like tilt overlording and tilt droning, but he's got a pretty sizable army at the same time, and his economy back at home is now stabilized.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be an easy attack to hold off.
Yeah, this is pretty scary, but he has Psystorm now, so should be able to throw down some decent Psystorms. That forward base absolutely can go down. If he just commits to killing it, it is gone.
Yeah, and he is going to commit to it. Look at the position of these Lurkers. This is so annoying. You cannot defend this fourth base at all. Free Immortal going down there.
Oh, man. And this is a kind of soft army right now. Yeah, he has some mortals, but he needs to hit multiple storms on these Lurkers ASAP. Oh, this is a really tough hold here for Trap. Armani doing a great job right now with these Ravagers and Lurkers. Looks like Trap going to start to come in, but those Lurker spines dealing so much damage.
Once you get those Lurkers into position on the ramp, it's just so hard to deal with. Just even fighting against this small of a number of Ravagers and Roaches. Considering the army that Trap did have. Remember, he committed so many units to the harass, and even though he did a really nice job with it, he tried to get a fourth base up here, and he's getting punished by Armani.
Yeah, this is dealing a lot of damage. I love that Trap tried to go Psystorm to try to deal with this ground army, but the strength of his army overall just wasn't quite where it needed to be. I think it could have been possibly a little bit easier to hold with, Disruptors or even possibly Colossus here.
Well, Trap's sticking in the game. He's going to try his best to deal with the rest of the army here of Armani, and he slowly is dealing with it.
Yeah.
Some more Lurkers are being morphed here, but not much support.
No, not really. It looks like this one Immortal comes down, but that's it. GG. Okay, that was kind of a cool one. A lot of damage done by Trap again, but that made his army very small. So when that counterattack came, that was a very tech-heavy army. It wasn't like a big, like, I'm maxed out Zerg army. It was just I have spent a lot of gas on this Zerg army.
Yeah, lots of Lurkers, lots of Ravagers, and just the angle. It didn't seem like Trap was really prepared for that either. He had his entire army in a ball.
Yeah, that's
was
true.
Not protecting his ramp, and then all of a sudden he was like, oh, crap, and he backed off, and that allowed Armani to get into a perfect position on that ramp.
That's a really good point. If he had started out a little bit more towards the center, in that area where there's like the Dusk Tower in the middle, and then there's the two sides.
Dusk Tower.
If he makes him burrow and unburrow a couple times, I'm not saying he saves the fourth base. I think that was probably always going to die. But maybe he lives at the third base. Maybe he can hold that off by, playing that game where you're making him kind of siege unsiege, or in this case, burrow unburrow.
Yeah, probably. Just a case of maybe Trap thinking a little bit in the past, Heart of the Swarm, saying, okay, I'm getting a 4th base up. I'm just going to be ultra defensive Protoss. I did my harass. I'm not really going to try to defend and use the map, really. Maybe it's just too early on where he hasn't really identified the map and its features and what he can abuse and not. I really like your point, though. That may have been a better place to make a stand in the middle where TY did against Soulkey. Kind of like cut the map in half, kind of,
Yeah.
get a decent amount of sentries out, try to deal with that possibly.
The problem with some of these really expensive defensive units, things like Siege Shanks, Liberators, Lurkers now, not really Storm Hosts, but from before. But anyways, like let's say those 3 units, for instance, if they're in position, they're very powerful, but it's actually kind of hard to get them into that position. Like you sometimes have to leapfrog, and since way back in StarCraft 1, the way to deal with that is to make, like, for instance, the Siege Shanks siege and unsiege and very slowly move across while you build up your army. Then you have a better arc, you have a better position, you're ready for everything, and Trap didn't do that. He let him get up and burrow almost exactly where he wanted to be, and that's always going to be a problem against Lurkers if you allow that to happen.
So the third map is going to be Runes of Ceres. It's going to be a really big map. I don't think we've seen this yet, actually. Well, as long as I've been here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it last week.
Yeah, we saw it a few times.
I would assume you did. But
it's a huge map. Like, it is the biggest map in the pool right now.
Huge.
Yeah, and if they're, like, for instance, cross spawns, I mean, that's a wild game right there, right? You have to watch out as Zerg for, early rushes with the Warp Prism. That's something that we did get to see, like, last week was... for instance, Hero just warping like 1 million adepts across the map, and then it's like, well, I don't care how big the map is, but like for Zerg to go ahead and attack Protoss, it's going to take a while to get across this map if you're in the wrong spots. So,
especially if you're trying to use those Lurkers. If Trap identified from that last game, he's like, oh, okay, you just made a bunch of Lurkers and you went for an attack on my 4th. Maybe I can do what you were talking about, Dan, try to delay across that gigantic map that's even bigger than Dust Towers. Could be interesting hold from Trap if Armani decides to go for that. Do you think there's any chance that Armani tries to play that Sky Zerg this time around with the mutas just because it is such a big map?
I could see him doing something like that, but I think I wouldn't be too surprised if Trap does something like a mass adept, like an 8-gate adept type of play, and tries to end it earlier.
There.
Yeah, like it might just be decided a little bit earlier here by Trap. We'll have to see, but a lot of times Protosses don't feel comfortable on such a big map, so...
Yeah.
But I think that would be a cool play by RG. All right, well, down here in the bottom right, our Protoss player doing a lot of harassment early game. It is Trap.
Yeah, and the entire map changes as they are vertical spawns here. They're actually, in fact, very close by air. And up here in the top right, in the red, the Zerg player taking a game back in that last game, it is Armani.
Yeah, this definitely changes things. Like that left side of the map, like the far left, probably won't really be used at all, so the map kind of shrinks quite a bit.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see how this affects which strategies that they want to go for. I don't know if it's going to affect for Trap that much, but if he wants to do a ground-based push that isn't necessarily relying on warping all his units in with a Warp Prism suddenly, it's a lot closer walk than, let's say, a cross map.
Yeah, for sure. And he's going to go for this kind of 2-gate style with the gateways at the ramp here, and probably going to make adepts there. Going to be happy with the spawns, I'd assume, with the build that he has chosen.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right about that. He's going to be able to get there quite quickly with his adepts, and it's looking very much like the Pion Terraces game. It seems like maybe this is a build that Trap really likes to use to put on pressure and expand, so that... And that makes it like very safe, for instance. Like, no Zerg rush will actually kill this. So, kind of a cool build.
Yeah, and once he does get that Warp Prism out, he will be attacking from many different locations. It looks like Armani wants to take the third base away from Trap, but that is farther from his natural.
Yeah.
So that's, based on the build that Trap did last time, that could be very spread out and kind of hard to deal with for Armani.
Yeah, definitely. If we have a lot of adept play and a Prism maybe mixed in there as well, it's going to be a pretty hard defense to hold on to all the drones over there and in your main base. Quite a walk between the two, but let's see how Trap goes with this. I wouldn't be surprised if he does follow up with a Stargate as well. I mean, even like if he goes for I think it'll either be like a Twilight and Robo, or it'll be a Stargate coming up next, just to do something very, very powerful against him.
Yeah, just gonna get a faster expand and gonna make a Stalker, so not as heavily going with those Adepts this time around. I'm just gonna use 2 very early on in the game. Definitely an easy way to put on a lot of pressure onto a Zerg very early on.
And it looks like quite a few Lings here, so his Adepts actually might get surrounded here. That's kind of annoying for Trap. Oh, very nice micro there, actually, slipping that back guy out.
But it definitely seems like Armani with that very early Overlord Scout, because they are so close, is going to know the build that's coming across, and he was very prepared for this. And is definitely not going to take as much damage as the first game.
Well, right now it looks like we will see that Twilight come up. Will he add a Robo as well to go with that? It's going to be kind of interesting. He made his Mothership Core or no?
I don't
actually notice.
I don't think so.
Okay, okay. Well, it doesn't look like Armani really has enough units or even wants to be aggressive at this point in the game. So, looks like Trap should be fine. A lot of drones coming out for Armani right now.
12 at a time. Gonna saturate up that third base as fast as possible. Sending out his Lings now that he's got speed to scout the left side of the map. Just make sure there's no weird proxies or any buildings in general over there.
And wouldn't it be cool, because you said it, like making 12 drones at a time, wouldn't it be cool if Protoss had larva and could make like 12 probes at a time? Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be really awesome. Why
really
don't they
cool.
just add that into the game then?
I think
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Thanks, yeah, I thought so too. Okay, it looks like he just wants to take a third base here off of a group of Adepts while getting an Adept upgrade. I haven't really seen a build quite like this yet, but it seems like it's pretty safe. It seems like he's not really in any trouble here.
Well, he's not in any trouble against only Lings for now, for sure. We do have a Roach Warren on the way. We could see Armani try to put on some pressure with some Ravagers possibly against only Adepts here. But let's see what he decides to do.
You know, this is the one thing about this build. I guess, okay, the pressure is going to give him his scouting, because I'm like, okay, most builds that we see with Protoss right now, you get some scouting pretty quickly and pretty easily.
Scouting,
but
you know?
yeah, I mean, if you're putting on this much pressure, you're going to know exactly what they're going for. And in fact, right now it's a lot of Lings and Roaches here. And it looks like he's just going to go ahead and target down as many drones as he can while he's ghosting out.
Yeah, he's got to be careful about not losing these Adepts, because he's seeing now the true amount of units that are being made here by Armani. Looks like he's going to lose every single Adept. And that's not going to be a too good of a place here for Armani. He's got to get some emergency units, or rather for Trap, he's got to get some emergency units right now.
Yeah, and look at that. I mean, the fact that he's making a bunch of Ravagers right now, that's going to not bode very well for these units. So he does have that attack speed, which is really nice. Oh, okay, he actually has a Dark Shrine on the way. That could help, but it's going to come way too late to defend this.
Yeah, I don't know about trying to go for that kind of surround there. I think he should have waited for the Ravagers. Just going to lose a bunch of his Lings. And he does soften up some of those Adepts.
Yeah, that is true.
Here comes the pressure.
All right, well, not using Corrosive Vials yet, but more Lings actually coming in right now. And he is going to get this Nexus. There's just no way to actually defend it at this point. And I tell you what, after such a brilliant and beautiful game one from Trap, and then even a great harassment in game two, he's way behind right now. This is a tough situation for him.
Yeah. Let's see what kind of Corrosive Vials do come down. Gonna miss just barely.
Good juke there on the Mothership Core.
Yeah, but this is still a very scary spot for Trap. He's stuck on 2 bases. He's gonna have to rely on this Dark Shrine getting a lot of damage down. I would love to take a look at Armani's base and see if he does have the necessary detection. No spores here in the main. And I think I saw him make 1 Overseer.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he has one at this point. Because he's seen like not a lot of gas out of Trap right now. He's seen mostly just Adepts, and he knows that they have attack speed. So that's 1 building away from DTs. Should be thinking about the possibility of that. But
2 Overseers right now being morphed, so he is going to, or at least he should be very prepared for this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, 3 DTs, though, that can cause a lot of havoc if your units aren't in position, even if you have detection. A single Spore on the way right now. Let's see what he can get done.
surprised that he doesn't have more defense here in the main.
Oh, man.
This is such an easy flyover for Trap. Just the Warp Prism getting here so quickly, and already these 3 DTs doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, look at this. It's actually pretty well done. And, of course, with that new Warp Prism pickup range, pretty awesome being able to pick up those DTs and get right out.
Yeah, he's going to attempt to come in here. There is detection still, but going to easily pick up, doing a bit of damage to those units. And it's going to threaten the third now. He's taken so much pressure off of him, even though he only got like 6 drones of damage, and he delayed a lot of mining time. He's getting even more damage here. He's also buying himself so much time to get this third base up.
You're very right about that. Like, Dark Templars truly have become much better in Legacy of the Void. Legacy of the Void is quite a buff to that unit, it seems, but looks like right now we do have a big counterattack here by Armani. This is a lot of Ravagers to have to deal with, but good amount of force fields here. Just kind of slowing this down. Only 1 pylon out here, so that Mothership Core not necessarily going to be too useful.
Yeah, he's beginning to make more pylons now as he realizes this mistake. No, the corrosive pylons come down and get a huge burst of damage onto this Protoss army. Yeah, he loses actually quite a few Adepts and Sentries there. And look at this. Is he going to lose his third again? I think he's just going to. It's way too much Armani. He bought himself some time, but Armani correctly identified that Trap must not have much at home, and he's swung the hammer, and I think this is going to be game number 3 going to Armani.
It might well be. We do have another Immortal out, warping more Stalkers, trying to hold on right now. The Mothership Core actually adding quite a bit of damage to this over time.
Mothership Core very close to getting low there, or going down, rather.
All right, well, we do have them blinking right now, trying to micro out of this situation. It's a really tough one. We have another Dark Templar on the way. There's actually no detection here. The Dark Templar is going to do a very good job, but it looks like he's just going to lose this base.
Yeah, going to focus that down. The Overseer does join up, and he has tons of units back at home being rallied, it looks like, to his 4th base. And here they come across the map. More and more roaches.
Yeah, the economy of Trap right now is not something that I'm sure can recover. Like Armani on 4 bases against Trap on 2, and really the main is basically mined out. Oh God, 5 more Ravagers? I don't think so, Valdez. I think this one is sealed up for Armani.
Armani, a very nice job here. Unless he gets hit by some really key disruptor shots.
We need MVP disruptors non-stop here. Oh God, he loses one of them.
That's not the MVP of this.
No, certainly not. Well, this DT is trying to help with that a little bit. Actually dealing a lot of damage. Gonna have to cancel this once again. Does have another disruptor. Got to be careful. He can't be losing the disruptors. That's the second one. GG. Ooh. That was kind of a rough series for Trap. I mean, he played really well. Game 1, he played really well, I thought, in Game 2, except for, like, you know, that thing that we were talking about. Maybe his units are out of position. The Psy Storms didn't quite do it.
Over-harassing. You know, in the way that we saw ByuN the other day, where it's like, I'm going to use, what was it, like 8 to 8 medevacs full of Marines and just try to over-harass you, and he got like 25 damage and drones done, but then he had no army back at home and he just got crushed.
Yeah, it's actually like something that we used to see with Marine King a lot way back in the day. It's like, okay, you've done enough damage. If you literally just sit at home with all of your units, you can't die.
No.
And that's what you need to do, is not die, because your opponent's dead.
You don't need to keep dropping his perfectly defended bases now. Like, you're not going to get that damage done. Even though you're really taxing his multitasking, it's not going to get you too much farther ahead at this point.
It becomes like diminishing returns. And, like, I mean, Trap that game, just not really having enough at home to defend his third base, losing that so many times, never quite had the units he needed. I liked some of, like, the DT harassment. You're right, that bought him so much time. It actually killed a decent amount of drones as well, but at
the same time, he had to commit to all those DTs, 3 of them into the main as well as the tech, and then, you know, he bought himself some time, but the army of Armani was still huge. And then once Armani was able to push that Warp Prism away, it was just a small walk, as we were talking about, in those positions at vertical spawns to go ahead and crush that third again. Yeah,
it's... you know, that's sometimes the way it goes. It looks like Armani moves on. Very surprised after Game 1, but some solid play.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, it'll be Rogue against Deer.
Christmas firesides blazing bright, and we're caroling through the night. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. Presents and cards are here. My world is filled with cheer and you. This Christmas, and as I look around, your eyes outshine the town, they do. This Christmas, firesides blazing bright, and we're caroling through the night. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. Yeah. It's gonna be a special Christmas for me. Firesides blazing bright, and we're caroling through the night. And this Christmas will be a very
The void beckons.
Hey, welcome back. It is Christmas Eve, and you have chosen to spend it wisely with myself and Valdez, watching some GSL, talking
Yeah.
about some StarCraft 2.
I like the whole vibe that we got going on actually between us. Just more laid back, kind of just relaxing. It's the preseason, you
Yeah.
know. We're just figuring out a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
that's gone on Legacy of the Void. Just chilling out.
Yeah, this is like
We need like a fireplace in front of the booth. I think
that would
In
be
front of the
awesome.
desk
Actually,
here.
it would be nice too because it's a little bit chilly up here.
Yeah.
to be honest, it's
Yeah.
they don't like. There's some sort of heat on in the studio, I think, but not full.
There is?
Remember when you and I casted Counter-Strike?
That's true. Yeah.
And we actually had blankets on and heat fans because it
Yeah.
was so cold in here. They just didn't care
that was
about
last,
electricity.
That was last December, wasn't it? I
Was
think
it last December?
I think
It
it
was
was last
something
December.
like
I think it was
that.
like the beginning of last December.
Yeah.
That's been a whole year since we did that.
Yeah, that was cold.
Yeah, that was real cold.
This
but
is
I
much
think it was
less
also
cold.
colder last winter. I don't know. It doesn't feel that cold this winter.
I think it's still gearing up. This is Korea we're talking about. Like
That's true.
They're serious about winter over here. It's going to
January,
be
February are the worst.
Oh, yeah.
December is like it's technically winter, but it's not. Excuse me, really winter.
like yesterday was pretty nice actually.
Yeah,
It was,
we got up to 10 degrees Celsius
Yeah.
during the day. Like what? It's
Yeah.
like spring. This is. Hey.
Whoa! I got you something for Christmas.
Oh, thank you so much. Can I actually drink this?
Yes. Of course you can. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna get fired. He's stealing Hot 6 from the set. No, it's fine. That has Nova on it.
I thought you were about to say like that's been there for
Okay,
2 years.
You
I'm
see,
like, no.
now let me just mention that like this just slid off of here and fell. So to open it and put it back there is not something
Okay.
I agree with.
So can we like? All right.
There you go. Okay.
That's better. All right. We're fixing it. You know, we're making it okay.
You're doing a great job here. You really. Tasteless wouldn't have thought to
messing
do
up
that.
the entire set,
Yeah,
like drinking
yeah.
your guys' Hot 6 cans.
Yeah.
That's what I came down
No, it's
here to
good.
do.
Hot 6 is good.
Yeah, no, Hot 6 is awesome.
Yeah. You make sure you
I
drink that
drink
whole
one
thing.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Look at you
of
supporting.
course.
Wow. Yeah. It's actually.
It's my favorite drink.
I
You
like
didn't
to.
know,
I like to support the sponsors of GSL. Like for instance, when my wife wants an energy drink, I buy her Hot 6.
Yeah.
When we had
None of that
Spenu
other
sponsoring,
stuff.
I bought Spenu shoes.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
when
had
we
that,
were sponsored by Monsieur J, I wore makeup during the cast.
you guys are sponsored by a makeup company? I didn't
A
actually know
men's
that.
makeup company.
Is that? Wait, really?
It's
I
true.
didn't
It
know
was
about
years
that.
ago. It was in like 2013.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was during the big decline of StarCraft.
Oh, I see.
But they were a nice sponsor to have. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Not sure.
Anyone who's willing to sponsor esports in general, anything, is a cool guy, a cool company in my book.
Absolutely. So, looks like we're ready for the next game, guys. Gonna go ahead and get into it. It's gonna be Deer against Rogue.
6.
See if Rogue can succeed where the other Junior guys have failed. Down here in the bottom left, though, we do have from Samsung. It is Deer.
Really excited to see what he can do. Well, it looks like we're going to have a pause.
No.
Come on, Rogue. He just puts a bunch of question marks, like, what's going on?
I think it's, yeah.
Maybe he was
English.
Terran or something. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think
that's
we
right.
figured that out.
I forgot about that. It was
that's
just
cool.
yesterday.
But yeah, let's talk about this for a second. The lack of Jin Air players doing well. I thought for sure SOS and Maru would be like leading the charge in the Legacy of the Void. They seem like the perfect well, maybe SOS needs like a little bit more time because he's so strategic and he's like so like against the grain of the meta that there needs to be one for him to be successful.
He also just won BlizzCon, so he was playing Heart of the Swarm
That's
for
true.
a lot longer than a lot of the other Koreans that weren't at BlizzCon were. So he needs some time to get up to speed as well.
What about Maru? What's our excuse? His multitasking
Injuries,
is like the best.
maybe?
Yeah, I guess
It's possible.
that is a possibility. It's always a scary one
I
to
saw
think
a
about.
picture, like a random picture. I wasn't even thinking about it, but it was on Twitter, and I think it was Kenzie who posted it. It was like Maru massaging his shoulder. I'm like, still? What's going on? I guess he just never had a break to like recover, even during the downtime, because he was probably practicing a lot and studying and playing Legacy of the Void. But that's really kind of worrying because Maru is definitely one of the best players we have in all of Korea and the world for StarCraft 2. And if he's not doing well because of injuries, that's never
Well, it would be really sad. That's actually how we lost MVP. MVP
Yeah.
eventually retired. Well, I don't know if he's like officially retired even yet, but like he kind of
Still
just
around.
stopped playing because his wrist was messed up. And like, remember he like transitioned into playing more and more and more mech in every matchup and was still winning championships.
Yeah.
But like, he was doing that
There's
to
probably a
coincide with the ache of the carpal tunnel, which is can be a very big problem for pro gamers. So if we lose Maru like that too, that would be a tragedy.
Yeah, it happens in every single sport. It happens in a lot of esports. Not every single one. I can't remember too many League of Legends players who got many injuries like this because there's not as much multitasking
There's
and
not
mouse
as
work
much
that
to
you have
do.
to do. So
I
kind
don't
of
care
makes
how many
sense.
times you click your little man to move him across the map. There's not as much to do in League
Your
of
little
Legends.
man? You
Yeah,
click
your
him
little
across
man
the
that you're
mouse?
playing with.
Some
Your
of those
little
are women, by
anime
the
girl
way,
that you're
or
running
to
around the map. Okay? I don't care how many times you right-click that. That is not the same as what Maru's doing.
It's true. I mean, I think StarCraft has the most injury. It's like not a good thing.
It
but
does.
I think it's the reality. I think it has the most injuries of any pro
esport, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. I think that is like a fact, and like the thing is, it's also been in esport like basically the longest.
That's
Plus,
true.
like the ridiculous APM and stuff like that. Like the thing is, the only other games that actually even come close as far as like the actual required actions per minutes. Like I think Smash is the only one that comes close.
Right. Yeah. I remember.
But
hearing
that's
that
like
before.
very different. Playing like this, as opposed to playing with the controller, I think that's going to really affect your wrist probably in a different way. Not a good one. Like Caveman did not evolve to hold a GameCube controller.
No.
But I'm just saying, it's like
They never really
the
had to hold
weird
anything like
posture
this, you know?
of playing in a computer can be,
Yeah.
can be an issue.
That's for sure. And I think they're doing research on that, and people are beginning to figure out ways to help you sit better, like some mouse pads that help your wrists and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Stuff like that. So hopefully that'll help in the future.
Yeah, and I've definitely seen, the ergonomic, like you put your fingers into the globe to type and stuff, and
Oh, I've never seen
the
that. That
split
sounds
keyboards.
really cool.
Oh yeah, no, there's. I'll show you some pictures later. There's some crazy ergonomic stuff people are doing, but anyways, here we have Deer in the bottom left. Whatever has happened has been fixed. The observer doesn't have Korean on the computer, and so we have no idea what actually went wrong.
Yeah, we have no way of knowing, so we'll just continue on. We still haven't taken a look at Rogue. Here we go. He's up in the top right, the red Zerg. We didn't get to introduce him, so it's only fair that we do so now.
Rogue definitely has been one of my favorite Zergs. Like, I've really been keeping my eye on him since he, you know, got, what was it, second place to Soulkey in like a qualifier for an IEM, and then like made it to Katowice that year and didn't do that well, but like was always in Pro League doing pretty well. I've been watching him for a long time. In the last year or so, I think like at the beginning of last year, he had an interview about how he didn't care if he won a championship. He just wanted to improve as a player in 2015. And since then, he's just been one of my favorite players, man. I hope that he does just fantastically this year in Legacy of the Void.
I love some of the stats you guys have. Pro League 2012, 2013, Season 1, Round 5, XTX versus Team 8.
Jeez.
Rogue beat Deer, guys.
With two teams that no longer exist.
Just
and
in case.
Don't forget in the Kung Fu Cup.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
Oh, man. Yeah,
I already
sometimes the
forgot about
stats
it,
mean
Dan. What was
nothing. I don't know what we're even talking about. Where am I?
It's Christmas Eve in Korea, and we're casting StarCraft.
I tell you, it's... When I heard that there was GSL casts on Christmas and Christmas Eve,
You
know,
couldn't have been a happier
I
man.
was excited.
Yeah.
So I'm just actually moving my Christmas with my little girl and the wife to Sunday. That's actually our strategy for this.
But you got to do what you got to do, you know?
Yeah.
So.
She doesn't know what day of the month it is yet.
Yeah, right.
She's only 3. It's fine.
Yeah, it's true. I'm sure you guys will have a fun Christmas regardless.
No doubt. Are you doing anything
Santa
special?
Can come a little bit late. No. Pretty standard. I'm not working on Christmas.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad, but
Oh, it's okay.
I'll be here with you tonight. I'm
Wolf
supporting
looks
you
more
tonight.
like Santa Claus than you anyways.
That's true. That's true.
And that's what I base people's worth. I mean, I wish I had Tasteless. He has a big beard, too.
Yeah. So that's the reason why Wolf's casting on Christmas.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
But right now, what we see happening here, the Oracle plus Zealot and a couple of Adepts, this is like what Parting was doing a lot at DreamHack. Well, I guess he's deviating from it a little bit, but... Wait, did he cancel the Oracle? He did, didn't he? Wait, where is the Oracle? I could have sworn he made an Oracle. Never mind. I take back everything.
He has Phoenix now. And he's going to continue making Phoenixes.
Okay. Like, I think Phoenix openings are really quite nice right now in Legacy of the Void. A lot of Lings actually being produced right now. Kind of interesting.
Well, he sees the fact that it's only Phoenixes coming out. Because I think he also saw the second Phoenix that was being produced. So you can make a big swell of Lings still if there's no Oracle to try to do at least some damage and pressure that third.
Let's see here. He does have this Mothership Core popping out. So that's going to be very, very important against
he does
the
have
Simulings.
even just 3 Adepts with a Mothership Core should be enough. And he didn't make enough Lings, I think.
You know what I think his plan is here? I think he's going to clear the map and try to like hide what he's doing with like mass Adepts or something, right? Because this is kind of weird. Like, he hasn't been non-stop on the Phoenix. I guess he's making more. He's going up to 4 now, but like adding a lot of gates, getting that Adept attack speed, he's going to have to put on an attack because these Phoenixes haven't really done that much.
Let's see where he stops with his probes. He stops here at 50 now, and he's continuing to produce them, so... Huh.
Yeah, I'm
I
not...
don't know. It could just be a pressure. I don't think it's going to be an all-in here.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it, but definitely something that could get some damage done, especially if he has a lot of this map cleared of Overlords, which he's hunted down a fair amount so far.
Yeah. And I don't think he's stopped the Phoenix production. I think this is the 6th one that's coming out here.
Yeah, 5th or 6th now, so... Let's see what he ends up doing with this. We actually have a Hydralisk Den, okay, a Lurker Den actually morphing immediately.
And here come the Adepts that have now been upgraded. 5 Phoenixes in the sky, a 6th one on the way, as well as Blink.
Yeah, he does have, of course, Adept attack speed upgrade going right into Blink afterwards, getting that +1 attack as well. And there's not a lot to defend this right now. The Lings are all across the map. This is actually, like, quite nice. He's going to pick off queens, spores even, like...
And he could even, if he really wanted to be sneaky, he could try to get that spore. I guess now that there's no queens, he could actually just fly over there with his phoenixes. The spores are going to do too much damage.
I mean, he's actually doing a great job. Look at this. He killed every lane, both queens. Now he's just killing drones. The Adept is a good unit.
Oh my god, Rogue just doesn't have anything. This is so unfortunate. Like, Deer hit this kind of weird timing. It's not even like a real timing attack, I don't think. I mean, it does kind of line up with the upgrade for the Adepts.
He didn't like maximize the amount of Adepts he could have right now.
Yeah.
As you said, this isn't all in. This is just like, this is like a pressure. Like, he's getting other upgrades. He's adding more gates right now. He made a lot of probes.
Yeah.
This was not, you know, it's something that you would hope Rogue would be able to defend a bit better, but he was out of position. The Adepts went up one side and the Lings were on the other. And now he's lost a hell of a lot of drones.
And the Sim City that Deer has around his third is just never being broken. He has like 6 gateways over here, tons of pylons going down, a Robo in the mix. Like, he's not going to lose that third base ever.
Yeah.
And, I think that's what those gates were originally for. You know, just with the continuous production of the probes as well. It's kind of just like safety. You have the gateways there just in case Rogue is going for some kind of timing with Ravagers probably. And he plays it safe, and he's like, okay, well now I can put on some pressure because it looks like you're trying to take up a bit here.
He's going to get this hatchery. Like, this hatchery is going to go down.
Mass Stalkers are still good.
Yeah, no, I mean, totally.
In any expansion of StarCraft.
There's not a lot of units out in the map for Rogue. He's getting some lurkers, so like he can defend if he retakes this. But for now, this dies. And this is like a super mobile army. Everything is sealed up tight at home. There's really good building placement by Deer, as you were mentioning.
And Rogue thought that he was going to run by with those Lings. Deer just kind of laughed in his face.
Yeah.
Put down a couple of overcharges. This is kind of a overcommitment. Going to lose 3 Phoenixes for 3 Hydras.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best trade.
No, certainly not. A little bit greedy there, but that's all right. Right now, he's taking up heavily at home, getting his 4th base up. Looks like the 4th will be canceled, so a small victory here for Rogue, definitely. Yeah, that's not going to quite do it, but...
And now Deer is